And there's potential for Kuro and Icon to roam because the top side of the map is set up so nicely here. And OMG look like they're nicely set up for those team fights.
Ultimately, it's going to be priority on the top Scuttle Crab. Whoever gets it gets ultimate vision and domination.
Well, let's find out as we get into game one. OMG taking on BLG. Riven versus Sejiani. That's all I want to see from now till 40 minutes because it feels like this one could go the distance to those ultimate wombo combo fights in a series that could be explosive. Does Chengdu care? The question I've been asking when I don't hear the crowd cheers. Thank you.
Here we go.
The most deflated chant I have ever heard. The man sounds strained.
Whoa. I was going to say, you get him, champ.
He sounded strained.
The solo leader for his team. I'm proud of him.
Look at the Colonel here. So he's sitting on the line. Preacher, we need to break down these compositions a little bit more here because the Xayah, Galio in the bottom lane. Of course, you have the Kaiser Nautilus. We know how Nautilus goes into Galio. I remember you and I had a discussion about it the other day.
Yeah, of course. The Nautilus doesn't do too well just because the Galio can always follow up after the hook with his taunt, which is a nice counter engage onto it. One thing that I want to talk about is this looks like a very good denial team composition from OMG, and specifically a denial away from Kuro's ultimate. There are no real good ultimates that he can use, the only one being Ryze, and that's not really a combat one. All of the other ones scale heavily with AD, and normally I hate full AD or very heavy AD compositions, but this one is a good one.
I will say late game though, there's the ability to be very active across the map. Kuro has teleport, he has a realm warp to steal, hero's entrance from Hudie, so re-engage after re-engage seems possible for BLG, but with this Sejiani pick into the Riven, now we're going to break down another thing, Preacher, because the Riven already getting the early shove in lane as expected, but where does this go?
Well, it's very tough for ADD to play under the turret as well. Sejiani doesn't have any auto-attack resets, and her abilities either don't do enough damage or do too much as a base, so it's going to be very difficult for him to farm under the turret in general. But the one thing that ADD brings, which is why, honestly, he picked the champion into the Riven, whether it was into the Riven or not, is the fact that him and Meteor can always gank this lane with such high amounts of CC.
I'd be curious as to when you start stacking up the armor a little bit, but for ADD, he has a Doran's ring to start off and the Aftershock to negate. As Meteor Hail blades Jinjiao walking into the mid lane into Icon. The audacious charge is not going to connect. Icon just gets slowed down and Meteor walks away.
It's a little bit unfortunate to see Meteor not actually pick up the early ganks, but of course he is on the bottom side of the map, so this is not his priority. It doesn't matter too much whether he gets it or not. And he just wants to get a whole lot of vision priority down, especially on the Scuttle Crabs.
Taking a quick look, though, at the top lane and ADD's rune set. Approach velocity on the Sejuani. That is ingenious.
Yeah,
throw an ult and just run at him.
Makes sense. You're going to be up in the front lines, and especially seeing as he built a Doran's ring early, I wouldn't expect an AP Sejuani, but expect a little bit of AP on the side, like, for instance, a Rod of Ages.
I'm wondering if we're going towards the direction of seeing what we saw in spring with Flandre taking it to the top side, where it was the AP Sejuani, building a lot of flat health, so you're still the tank, but you do a bucket load of damage, of course, in the mid game.
Yeah, and obviously the fact that you don't need to build too many resistances on Sejuani because you got your passive and also your aftershock, so you're going to be healthy for a very long time if you just build straight health and also AP. It's a good build path for ADD, but once again, it is just the 1v1 laning that we are worried a little bit about.
And you also said, mentioning the Scuttle Crab in Champion Select and how that's going to affect it. Well, it is secured by BLG, and they have so much vision towards that top side. I do want to drop a bit of knowledge for everyone out there who hasn't tuned into BLG. At the moment, still one of the best warding teams in the LPL, and BLG consistently play that Korean-style League of Legends. Of course, a lot of warding, safe play, but that changed just a little bit as Curse is looking to back off ADD. Curious as to how this matchup's going, because you got full vision, but Curse is starting to get bullied out.
Can I just say as well, that point is really nuanced, because not only are BLG staying so far ahead in the warding game, but XinMo has played so many Yuumi games as well. Yuumi is a champion that can't really move around the map of ward, so the fact that he's keeping up on it means that this team really heavily prioritizes it, and you could see that in their slow and calculated playstyle.
Only the bad Yuumis don't detach, Preacher. You know, the good ones, they take their
Solo
own little
warding.
adventure. Yeah, and it's A lot more balls here as Meteor starts the invade off now. This is going to be spotted by OMG. What is the counter response? Because on the bottom side, Penguin is slowly making his way in, but Meteor starting to build a lead up in this jungle, and he's going to go for the full clear.
And he's also gone for the challenging smite as well. So he's relying purely on his third hit for the knock-up and also for everything from ADD in order to lock people down. He's going for a much more damaging route, which I really like.
All right, I see the boots as well. So you've got that extra mobility on the top of Penguin. That TP just going to be channeled here from Kuro. Penguin going to be spotted out moving into the jungle. There's a level difference between the junglers and Meteor. Is finding his prey, walking to him. 1, 2, and 3. Is he going to get the knock-up? He times it with the audacious charge, but Penguin is out of there. So aggressive move from Meteor, but he doesn't find his prey.
And it ultimately works to deny a whole lot of time away from Penguin, because if you take a look at them, it's level 5 against level 4. Penguin spent a lot of time trying to invade that as well. Meteor is just playing the defensive game, working out because it denied an invade.
I will say, though, it gives Penguin time to catch up, pull back on some of that experience, as that's a very deep ward on the side of ADD. So BLG are playing that vision game right back, as now we're just seeing the level 6, and this is where things could turn ugly with Kuro coming up.
3-man onto the top side of the map. So far, we have to see if Kuro's actually stolen the Realm Warp or not, but they choose to disengage.
Okay, passive needs to go down alongside Aftershock for Curse to get better trades off here, and finally it's gone, but they get the Permafrost into the Winter's Flail, and trades going better for ADD at the time being. So finally seeing this matchup first time in the LPL, we're starting to see, like we talked about, what happens at that level 6 mark.
And look, the funniest thing is the fact that obviously people don't really think about it, but the best part about Sejiani's clear is her Permafrost. It does percentage damage, and it's actually capped against minions inside of the jungle.
Yeah.
However, once you take it into the top lane, no cap at all, flat percentage onto Curse, and you can already see it shoving him down.
He's got double Dorans, there's a Ruby Health Crystal there as well as Meteor having the time of his life. I don't know why I said Meteor was invading before. He's in his own jungle. I apologize, ladies and gentlemen.
I mean, he's having the time of his life in his own jungle because nobody's contesting.
I was looking up there because we did see some vision from OMG, so it was more like that Penguin was tracking the side of Meteor, so of course, once again, I do apologize about that, but he's gone to clearing the rest of his jungle. His blue buff will be up, but he has no intention of going back there. Curse is in a dangerous position underneath his turret, and Meteor still has not been spotted out.
And that is also just such a smart place to put a control ward, because the only time that people walk through that control ward are when they want to gank mid and go straight from the side. Everything else is denied away very heavily from it, and usually when you have that mindset, you don't stop to clear it.
You'd have to hope that that ward was kind of worth it, or whatever happens here will be, because Meteor loses the dragon on the bot side while the flash comes forward onto ADD. Curse trying to take the 1v2, the solo kill king. So far, the Rookie gets dropped, and it's first blood for BLG.
And that is just like clockwork. You have the ultimate available. Zhao comes, the third hit for the knock-up as well. What can you do except just get CC'd to death and then slowly killed by ADD and Meteor diving you?
And a simple trade-off for OMG will be getting the blue buff. So now it's an invade onto the blue side, folks. And Icon just walks back to lane. Kuro gets denied the turret plating. Deny it from him. There you go. As they're going to get a blue buff handoff here. A 1-for-1.
And you thought that that worked out so well for OMG because they at least got a consolation prize from that first blood going over to their enemies. Yeah. Not even, because Kuro just denies it away. A simple trade. And you got to say, so far, that control ward, although it is smart, has not quite paid off.
And we're looking at the little things here in this first game, because at 8 minutes in, BLG have a lead, sure, at 700 gold from that first blood that went over to Meteor. But in this game, CS is practically even across all lanes. This rarely happens in the LPL, considering how explosive it is. So you can see how well matched OMG and BLG feel coming into the summer split.
Definitely makes sense, though, because if you take a look at the matchup, especially in the bottom lane, we were talking about how Nautilus doesn't do too great into the Galio just because of the matchup in skills, but also the fact that he wants this okay Meteor.
Preacher, I'm going to have to interrupt you because Meteor's been jumped on, has to pop the ultimate immediately. Icon is chasing him up, but good audacious charge gets out of the range. Now OMG, though, in a bad position as a flash away from Penguin with the Ignite. Hudie, justice punch into the robot of death. And his death will be first. It's Penguin who gets his blood.
Did not calculate it. No vision down either, because XinMo just wanted to flash over and re-engage onto Penguin on his way out. Did not anticipate that nearly 5 members were there just waiting for him, and falls to his demise.
And so that means for OMG, finally they can get some control back on the map, as BLG still holding handily in that top side. ADD, by the way, just take your conversation elsewhere, because ADD has decided to go for health regeneration so far. So we've got the Ninja Tabby, we've got a Mana Crystal in there. I'm so curious because it looks like it could just be like a Righteous Glory first with the double Doran's Ring Sejiani.
That's literally what I was going to say, because it works so well with the Zhao Meteor building full damage. All you need is that Righteous to slow curse down, to lock him up with your Sejuani abilities as well, and just let Zhao kill her with all of his damage.
That's very true. So good little wombo combination from the top side of the map of BLG.
And it's also good adaptation, because usually you don't come into the game thinking that you'll rush a Righteous, but because Meteor got ahead early, you start building it.
You really do, but OMG have swapped around their lanes, so we'll look at the Sejuani a little bit later, because the back needs to come here from ADD. Curse made the move. In fact, it's OMG who proactively started this. Curious to see where it develops, because ADD still hasn't backed.
Here we go.
Hudie going to go for the face check. Now, in a 2v1, I'm not sure how this handles, but then we go into the Permafrost. ADD does 0 damage now.
Yeah, I mean, Hudie does really well into ADD just because of the natural magic resistance and the shield coming out from Galio. So, okay.
That was a mistake, Crystal, but you know what? We
Get
all
the
have
camera off this man.
We all have it. Bad timing for the camera. Darn right, Breacher.
Yeah, that's a little bit unlucky. I think BLG saw it as well, so now they want to actually take advantage of it.
Let's get the Rift Herald.
Let's do it. I mean, what can Crystal honestly do? Even if they dive him?
There's no vision there, Preacher. So after that ult, yeah, so on the money here. Rift Herald gets started.
You can literally do whatever you want onto the top side, because Hudie doesn't even have his ultimate, so can't even point blank it to give him the extra armor and magic resist.
Meteor just pulling it away too. There is no vision inside of that pit, and BLG know it after sweeping it away. Hudie now drops a ward with the control ward there. Contested by OMG, not just yet.
Here we go, though. Hudie wants this TP.
Justice Punch into the shield of Duran. Flash was available, but didn't want to take it as TP. Does come in. ADD has the Glacial Prison. A flash miss. Crystal is not in form in this game, and now he sure knows it. Gets the Blade Caller, though. Redemption was almost there. Redemption for his soul. OMG's AD carry drops, and now it's back to the Rift Herald.
You hate to see it. The missed ultimate and also the missed flash as well. Crystal, there was nothing saving it.
Remember that ADD still has the ultimate available, Preacher, or rather he doesn't, excuse me. Used it in that last trade, so they're not able to follow up even if they wanted to, and OMG had the push on the inside of mid lane.
Now let's see if BLG want to take this one. They have to be cognizant of where exactly OMG members are positioned. And they also need to keep track of the ultimates. They should have known that Hudie didn't have his ultimate, but does have it now. Now is not a good time for BLG to fight.
On that note as well, Penguin is 2 levels behind. So even though he has the Cataclysm, he will not have the same experience, the same level advantage that Meteor does. And onto ADD 2 levels behind the top laner, as he's going to get poked out too.
Not to mention that he also went for the Cinderhawk, so the damage is also lacking from his end. It's great if you lock it up. You got to do something later.
Penguin
Come on,
got
Meteor.
that, by the way.
Come on. Oh, wait, did he get it?
Yeah, Meteor charged it and Penguin got it. So a nice little win for OMG as BLG going to find one themselves. It's Hudie backing in the middle of nowhere. And Icon, can he save his support? He might actually just die for it as he spreads himself with the Spell Flux, but with the Rip tied up, send him with the depth charge. BLG just keep getting pick after pick.
My heart will go on is definitely playing in my head right now.
Relevant,
because it was for Icon defending Hudie. I'm going to say questionable in terms of the choice, but it worked out to save his support, which does mean that if there is a fight in the duration that Icon is dead, at least there's a heroic entrance.
You say after those couple of kills that OMG should be much further behind, so keeping up with the gold due to CS in the mid lane. The top lane now for Curse, he's just been farming away, but the kill distribution is my worry here, because BLG, 1 on Jinjiao. XinMo's in a good position here. Meteor has 2 kills as well with Warriors. Penguin is just walking at him. Cataclysm, he wants to go down because the Hero's Entry is going to save the day, but it's cancelled too. Hudie has been caught out, and Icon needs to save him, but ADD's got Penguin. They'll trade it off for BLG. He can't Arctic Assault out, and now Icon gets blood too.
You definitely need to give props where it's due. ADD is playing like a monster. Even though he died just then, he did so well for the rest of his team, cancelling the ultimate coming out from Hudie to make sure that everybody else is so secure. Didn't even know that XinMo was going to casually use his stopwatch there either. Everybody works out safe.
In a composition that's so good for pick here from BLG. It's impressive that OMG getting the picks in return, you're right. So at this point though for BLG, still trades a trade, still getting something there, and we'll take a quick little replay because it was over the Rift Herald again.
Yeah, and that was the missed engage. You have to watch Penguin's eyes because he wants blood. Going straight past ADD in order to go to the rest of the team. There's the stopwatch. Cancelled Galio as well.
Yeah.
Man, that was punishing. And it's just a shame that ADD died because he did so much for his team.
It was such a scuffle over Rift Herald there, and I was like, what is going on? I'm definitely getting confused by the fact that the Sejiani and the Jinjiao are in the same game, and I'm like, where's ADD coming in with Smite? Like, what's happening here? Where's the Cinderhulk?
Yeah, it hurts your brain a little bit, but the great thing, even though he died, is the fact that he picked up the Rift Herald throughout all of that, so he's going to be able to pop it right now.
Oh, he's popping it into the mid lane, and no one's there from OMG.
It's going to be a one-shot.
This should be close to it. Doesn't matter. ADD can make it a bit of a one-shot. The charges in. Close enough, I'd say.
Yeah. I mean, if he can get this off as well, nobody else can contest it, and is going to get a second charge, which is really strong for BLG because they didn't anticipate that.
Yeah, they've just got full map control right now. BLG up towards the Cloud Dragon. This is going to be not stolen. Oh, Kuro actually took his ulti before and used it just as they got the Dragon. So it was ulti for ulti, but yeah, too close in my book.
That was definitely very close. But now that we got a little bit of lull in the action, we can start to take a look at the builds and how it's going for both of these two teams. One thing that stands out for me is that Kuro is definitely on his power spike. The 10% CDR from Kindle Gem as well as the Ludens Echo. He's going to be firing all of his chains off in the middle of a team fight or even just wave clearing. And another thing as well is that Jinjiao has opted for the Manamune build, which will take a little bit of time to turn online. I know that you know that from personal experience, but eventually... It does mean that he's going to be stronger in terms of the scaling late game.
Yeah, for context, Raz wasn't happy about that one.
Nobody was happy in that game.
Well,
we'll skip it.
I got 3 kills and Yeah, anyway, long story short, Manamune can be very good. So Jinjiao will be scaling, as you said, as Curse now on a 1v1. ADD wants to take the Arctic Assault. Let's go. Permafrost is there. But I think Curse eventually wins out after the Aftershock and the passive depletes.
Yeah, but given that you have both those two things to fight through, it is such a tough window for him to ever find ADD in a position where you're just like, okay, now I can actually hit him.
I was contemplating before game what kind of matchup I want to see, and we did say carry matchup. This is different, but you got to remember this still fits into like the Poppy Tree, the Scion,
it does.
More or less. So ADD is not out of his wheelhouse. In fact, this pick so far has been quite good, helping out the pick style that we talked about with BLG, and easy to get the lane shoved here with the flail, move Meteor down, and get another turret.
Yeah, look, I am a little bit disappointed in OMG's positioning throughout the map because they have allowed mid to fall to the ADD with the Rift Herald, and now they're allowing bottom lane to fall as well. Take a look at where their members are distributed on the map. They are getting nothing out of this trade. They couldn't even get top lane turret, and this is just so punishing in terms of goal differential.
I think they're going to get it now, though, Preacher. So although you're right, you know, the trade comes through first from the side of BLG. The push came through. They actually pulled off of it. So, yeah, downright. Jinjiao and XinMo saved the top lane turret. BLG trading ahead 2-0 in the turret game right now. And BLG have a firm grasp on this gold lead, about 2,000, almost 500. And in the bank, where's that gold coming from? Well, jungle v jungle. A core matchup that has gone so well for Meteor in game 1.
It's definitely helping out. The turrets are also another thing that's helping out. Look, we're going to speak honestly. The kills were a little bit funny, especially in the early game. You know, Crystal missing 2 of his escape abilities. However, the turrets, that is a real big worry for OMG. And if they don't do anything in order to respond to this, then BLG are going to win it just through attrition alone and busting down these turrets.
Because we get to this mid game, and Sejiani now has 2 items. We're almost to a proto belt, it looks like, here for Kuro. And towards that Guinsu's Rage Blade for Jinjiao. So, a lot of good things to mention here for BLG, but it's not like OMG aren't catching back up. Icon already has the Archangel Staff stacking up.
Here we go.
And 2 items almost on Crystal. And Curse, if he finds this engage, well, he's got the Black Cleaver and the Corefield's Warhammer. So, and also notice this, everyone. I want you to look at your screens and see how many Merc treads we have on the side of OMG. 3 so far. I expect that to grow.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's just watching out for ADD to make sure that he can't hyper-lock people down. Also, XinMo is very good post-engage after ADD gets in there. I just want to say, this is something that was definitely preference. Before we actually got into this game, when we were talking about Curse, if he gets behind even a 0-1, then generally he just split pushes for days and he doesn't join his team. Looks like it's a self-fulfilling prophecy within this game because he is just off on the side and it's not working well for OMG.
And I think he needs backup because the rest of BLG are making the push. We talked about controlled late games. BLG are pushing the tempo once again against OMG in game number 1. And this inhibitor turret is under fire. Penguin's coming in, but will BLG stay?
So far, they're just going to... But take a look at the HP on that turret. Like, honestly speaking, they got that for free because there was no disengage from OMG. There was no defense from OMG either. And they are playing towards Curse's weakness. And that is, if you just get him 0-1, literally 0-1, you don't see him in fights.
Because Crystal's not moving. He's staying in the mid lane. He's getting the push out. ADD will find him as he walks on in. Good vision from OMG to get that, but Crystal dodging away from the ulti. That's the first step, because now he has to dodge away from the permafrost as feathers fly out. He flashes away. There's the depth charge. ADD jumps on forward into the bone plate. He gets a bit of resistance, but the Cataclysm comes down as well while Kuro hits the backline. Curse is trying to carry on the Riven here. Can he? With a two-man stun, he does his damage. Hudie flashes after him with the shield of Duran, but OMG want to keep on this going with the flag and drag. Penguin, how did you do that? That was the need for speed, and Penguin just does it so well. Jinjiao will escape, but I've already seen my play.
I'm going to say the same thing I say after I sneeze. Excuse me? That was perfect coming out from Penguin. Take a look at that QE. Usually you're tempted to use your flash full distance. He used it minimal distance to make sure that both people got knocked up in that. What beautiful outplay coming out from OMG to come back into this game.
Man, Penguin, that's a good moment to recall if you ever want to ask yourself about this jungler. Just as aggressive as Curse, and that small little outplay from OMG will pick them up a second. Ocean, it started with ADD and looking for Crystal.
Also props to Crystal, because although he blows literally everything in his kit, he actually does get out of this situation. Ultimate and also flash after the case to make sure that he doesn't get killed by ADD enables him to do so much damage onto the front line. ADD can't do anything, and eventually this is the re-engage that we're watching for the Ryze Realm Warp as well to catch out Meteor and Kuro. Watch for the Jarvan QE flash. Onto Meteor. Down onto Jinjiao as well. Both are knocked up.
Almost got Jinjiao by the end of that play as well. So on that fight, Icon picks up a couple of kills. And now, Preacher, you've got almost a 2-item Ryze who's got a needlessly large rod. This is going to be a bit of an Icon show, I feel, in this game number 1. And although Curse not performing as well as we hyped him up to be, still in that fight, keeping the backline tiresome, keeping them on top of him. Curse was doing a magnificent job at distracting the rest of BLG and stopping them from getting anywhere near the rest of OMG.
He did the best that he possibly could, and there's not a lot that a Riven can really do in a straight 5v5 because she is very vulnerable, and if somebody locks her up as opposed to her locking other people up, then it's not a good time for the Riven, but Curse played it out as best as he possibly could have for a 0-1 Riven, and I just hope to see him engage in these fights a whole lot more, because it doesn't matter how many kills that he gets, if he can buy enough time for Crystal. You saw that. Crystal can kite back and get himself kills onto ADD.
When ADD is charging at you and doesn't die with the help of the stone plate, that's pretty good news for BLG if they can capitalize on that. So Kuro is an absolute machine, and Curse is trying to get to machine status in this first game. Minions, thank you, says BLG. They get the top lane turret, so still ahead in gold here at 22 minutes in the game, and next objective seems to be around the Baron, which is just littered with vision from both sides.
4 turrets to 1, definitely the biggest deciding factor between these two teams, and you would have to imagine that this is the best opportunity while everybody on BLG is back for OMG to clear vision and get vision for themselves. Very difficult to do, mind you, because we just said that BLG is a very vision-focused team. However, if ever there were a time for you to start denying that away, it has to be now.
OMG have already started, because now look at the pit once again. There's a couple of deep wards from BLG denying what could be a flank teleport, what could be a flank realm warp towards the Baron. Yeah, AD.
Okay, never mind.
All right.
He got control warded.
Yeah.
Control ward is the hardest CC because people just stop for it.
Hardest CC, fair enough. Walk into that brush. Go on.
Wait, does he actually get out? Oh,
Icon's
man.
out.
Wait, cancel it. Oh, okay.
I think he...
Wait a second, what are you doing?
He could potentially 1v1 him.
You madman.
I would, if I was Icon. You have a Banshee's Veil now.
Yeah, but there's a Gargoyle Stone Blade.
Yeah, but there's a needlessly large rod. So, I don't know, Preacher. I would like to see that 1v1 happen. Said no one ever in a tank versus Ryze. But he's 2.5 items now. Curse just picked up his second item as well. And BLG finally clearing out some of this vision. We propped them for their control around neutral objectives like Baron, Dragon, and the Elder too. For BLG, they have been shut out by OMG coming into this mid-game with pure vision. And they've got so many parts of the map they have to respond to, like this one. Icon gets more free gold.
This is what you wanted. You wanted the solo into the ADD. We have to watch it right now. However, you have to take a look at how BLG moved in order to get that vision back for themselves around the Baron pit. On paper, XinMo did nothing, Jinjiao did nothing, but because they moved around with Meteor, it meant that he was free to just get that Scuttle Crab for himself and just get so much vision down to the point where OMG can't even sneak around the side.
Yeah, BLG have so much more priority now, and you can see Icon has backed away in vision as well. BLG know he could be coming, and they're able to push this mid lane wave, still testing up towards the Baron. Curse going to help out a lot for OMG by getting that wave shoved up towards the river. Now for BLG, they have to watch out his pathing and how OMG could start the fight.
Feels bad for OMG because they need to walk into vision in order to get rid of vision, and that is perfect engage potential for BLG, who's all standing around here. You just have to hold your breath and wait to see whether they can clear it out or whether it's going to backfire into their faces.
Against the competition that has so much gap close, and you're not going to see it coming, Penguin. Kuro just letting him know he's there. But at the 25-minute mark, still a 9-kill game. Seems slow, but the pace of it never has. Penguin is walking in now, finally face-checking. Meteor might be actually caught out by Icon. He gets bursted down, flashes out. OMG already started this fight off right as ADD has to pop the stone plate again. He has Warmogs, folks. That's a 3-item Sejiani, so he's going to be full health in no time.
And that was the best possible time for OMG to fight. This is risky, though. Do not start up the Baron because there is so much re-engage from BLG. I was about to say Meteor was so low to the point where he might as well be dead because there's no way that he can jump in, but Curse wasn't around. So OMG had to delay it, and that delay turned into enough time for Meteor to lifesteal, and it's all disengaged once again.
Simply clearing away the vision around that Baron pit is now towards the bottom side. There's a triple ocean available for OMG, and BLG look pretty frank on denying that.
The bad thing about the Ocean Drake at this current point in time is that it's going to be an all or nothing. There's very little poke coming out from BLG. So it's either going to be you straight 5v5 them or you don't. And that Ocean Drake is very rarely going to come in handy for OMG.
There you go. Pick it up, though, for BLG. Their gold, by the way. Quick check up there into the scoreboard. Still only 2,000. So there's no defining factor that seals away this game one for either team at the moment. But you still look at part of the scaling and what OMG has. You got Ryze, you got Xayah. 2-item Xayah, by the way, on Crystal. You've also got Curse, who wants to now find ADD and get some revenge in that top lane. And with the help of Icon, they might. There's a Realm Warp over the top. Here comes the cavalry. The minions don't want to party with this one. Curse picks up his first kill of the game.
Great animation cancelling from Curse. You got to respect the mechanics when you see them. He pretty much used his auto attack to cancel his 2 Qs and then used his W to catch up to ADD to do damage and also lock him down for the Realm Warp. Very nicely played.
Okay, so BLG, top lane has just been solo killed. 30 seconds to utilize that TP, and Penguin is searching out. He can smell Kuro in the other brush. And OMG, do they press the trigger here? Is my biggest question.
I'm going to go with a very hard no, because if they do, then that's going to lock them up with so much magic resist denial. And if you take a look at the magic damage coming out from Kuro and also from Jinjiao, too much to deal with.
So it's back to clearing vision here for OMG as Kuro, becomes a nuisance once again. And BLG still in a very comfortable position to walk towards this Baron pit where OMG haven't been able to deny as much vision as they thought. Curse just roaming between lanes. So we're steadily getting towards that late game. I said at the start, this looks like it could be a 40-minute game, 40-minute controlled, paced game here to start us off in the series.
It honestly can, and this is very firmly in BLG's grasp. You take a look at 5-5, you take a look at how nobody's really engaging onto the Baron, you say, what do you mean? This looks very even. No, BLG are very firmly in control of this game, because if it keeps on going tit for tat, I clear this wave, you clear that one, BLG come out ahead, because they will always have the engage, and if you give Jinjiao the resources in order to scale, as well as Kuro just off in a side lane, then they are going to do wonders with it. You saw the Colonel's prediction early, and that is because of the late scaling.
I mean, Colonel was only 1% sure, though, Breaches.
But it was going downwards into BLG.
Yeah, we got to stop trusting KFC and stop trusting that the hook won't land. XinMo is going to get Penguin, and Hudie had a different thought as he flashes out of there. Icon wants to make a bit of a revenge play, but it's already the jungler lost, and OMG may have stepped too far this time.
If you could just kill one member, you would choose Penguin, because it is going to be a Baron Nash, and nobody can contest it from OMG. The best they can do is push mid lane.
Wow, that goes down so fast as well. 2K, Curse over
ulti.
The wall. Ulti into the Baron, no! Oh. You could see the attempt. You hoped Curse might even get out of there as well. And BLG lose their mid lane turret, but they get Baron on all 5.
And now they have to be barreling down mid lane, because while Penguin is still dead, they've got the Baron buff fresh, and they can start doing work with it.
The attempt from Curse is nice. Hudie caught backing again.
Wait a second. Hudie actually killed himself in this, because he used his E, but he got hit by the Sejiani.
Doesn't matter. He's dead anyway. It looks like that's it for Hudie. So Jinjiao picks up that kill, and that is the second time this game that Hudie's been caught out backing.
Oh man, that is a feels bad moment right now, and I thought the Kuro could have taken that just because of the backup that he had, but it doesn't even matter.
No, doesn't need to take the matchup right now. You still got the Baron buff. You got a firm lead in this game. Riven ulti now popped. Icon is going to take him into a 1v1, but Penguin has joined the fray as well. After Choc going to negate a lot of that damage, the flash out from Icon. Bitten off way too much once again. An OMG member getting ambitious. Tell me something new in this first game.
Yeah, look, you like seeing Icon because he makes such ballsy plays like that, but you also don't like to see it because he unnecessarily needed to use his flash in order to get out of that. You know for certain that he's going to need that in the next team fight when BLG are barreling down into his base, but he's not going to have it.
That's right. Icon's level 16 as well. As Colonel weighs in once more, he heard me talking about him. And he says, hysterics.
Mate, you're talking smack. You're getting
80%. BLG believe it as well. That's why they're all the way back in. That's Hudie dead. Once again, the hero's entrance to get it in used by the Sylas Curse picks up 1. Now with the Blade Caller out, can you get something back as ADD has passed a very unique way? Won't die just here, but Curse getting the kill as a response might slow things down.
This is so good for BLG as well because they still have engage on ADD, whereas OMG lost their engage onto the Galio. So now OMG can't really do too much except hug their turrets.
But remember, Kuro is level 16 Sylas now as well. So what makes this worse, even a 5v5, is that Sylas will have all 5 ultis in a fight.
15-second cooldown. Man, can you say anything other than the fact that you have to be scared? All I have to say for that is that OMG are very lucky that they drafted the way that they did because the ultimates that they can steal, not the best, but still good enough that you want to.
I was going to say, Kuro might not have all 5, but you have close to it the longer it goes on. So you're looking at a 4-item Sylas in the making that is going to wreak havoc in the mid-game and late game, rather, as we're already there. And it was Hudie getting caught out yet again.
Yeah, but you have to look at the response coming out from OMG.
What is he doing?
Everybody's gone forward, and they actually managed to trade back onto XinMo just because of Curse's ultimate. That's what you want to see. If anybody was going to get the resources, it has to be Curse because he's starting to do damage now. I just want to see the third Q disrupt everybody.
Good for BLG to find that pick. Hudie was definitely not expecting to see a whole team, a whole army, I should say, of BLG around the corner. BLG still with this Baron buff haven't been able to break the base. It's a good news story for OMG. They're 4k gold down just about, and BLG are still trying to get through that bottom lane inhibitor.
And I know that I'm detaching us a little bit from the wider picture of BLG barreling down into the base of OMG, but take a look at the wards that's in the bottom half of the map for BLG. They have got this completely locked down.
Screw the wards. Let's teleport to a minion, Preacher, as Hudie gets locked down against XinMo up towards the inhibitor. It's Curse and Penguin you need to look at for the engage as Hudie gets soloed out once again. ADD walks up, but for BLG, they've already got their prize. The inhibitor broken, and that's the last of the Baron buff.
Man, I'm going to take back my point about the wards. That was enabled by the wards. The fact that OMG didn't know exactly where BLG were, they can't walk outside the base, and that bought a free entrance for BLG into the bottom lane.
Able to break open that inhibitor. Now for BLG, it's next on the menu, and that's the double cloud. Enable that Elder. Enable another dragon that is going to wreak havoc alongside with them. And BLG dotting the I's, crossing the T's, it seems, here in this game, number 1. And OMG, it's not like they're out of hope, but they're going to require a miracle out of these solo laners to bring this game back.
Take a look at the dragon distribution for both of these two teams. Seems like a bit of a joke, but I definitely prefer the 2 Cloud Drakes coming out from BLG just because of their engage potential. Get it down and get it sorted onto OMG.
Oh, fine Crystal almost. ADD using that Cloud Dragon to fruition as ADD takes 0 damage here.
Oh, Hudie again.
OMG mid, and Hudie saves his life this time, Preacher. I'll give him that one on the 0-3 Galio.
Look, it happened again. Hudie tries to go backwards with his punch. However, he runs into the members of BLG, and that's the second time that's happened to him.
Yeah, it really is. Hudie getting caught out. 30 seconds on the clock. Baron not going to be up for it. Looks like another 2 minutes or so. They've taken away the timer, and it's really, really bugged me since starting this split. So I'm going to have some words about that. But assume with me, ladies and gentlemen, that 2 minutes or so.
Sync your clocks.
Next Baron, yeah, set it up. Elder's going to be coming up next. Beers down there for you as well. BLG have a good cold sip. They serve warm beer in this country sometimes, which annoys me. That's a different argument for a different story, different session.
Back in my day, we had Baron timers, but it wasn't actually in client, so we had to write it down in chat.
Your old man voice does not sound old at all.
I was trying my hardest.
Oh, God. It's an old time coming here for BLG because they've been so patient with their games, even though the early games and mid games have been a lot more straightforward, a lot faster, I should say. Still, you get to this point, and it's just simplified. What do they do next? They wait for the Baron, they wait for the Elder, they get the waves pushed out, they secure vision. It's so simple that OMG have to scramble just to get in their area.
And look, scaling has been very kind towards BLG. Take a look at the items. Warmogs and also Locket coming out for ADD. He's got so much HP for the rest of these entire fights. He even just wants a 1v1 Curse. Let's go.
Let's go for the 1v1.
Meteor.
Meteor's coming in as well. That's not really fair,
Wait
is it, BLG? But Curse is starting to output some damage. Down to ADD, the Hero's Entrance there. Icon TP's in as well, but he needs the 5. Goes Golden Curse, gets the 3-man stun. Here we go for OMG. They get the knock-up, but the AoE damage from BLG hits harder first until they bring in Crystal as well. OMG! It's the Wombo combo! I was waiting for this one, and Crystal made some mistakes earlier, but by God, does this make up for it now?
He came back strong. You didn't even expect him because he was out of the fight. It looked like a 3v5 coming out for OMG, but the later Crystal comes in, the better, because he doesn't need to use his abilities to get out. He just goes straight in. He didn't even use his ulti because he was saving it for a good time. Good time never came because he just started autoing.
And you know who started that fight, Preacher? Curse. We'll get to that in a moment, as I'm sure we'll have a replay. Icon starts spreading like wildflower. It's a dirty disease, but Icon is okay there. Everything comes up right for OMG. And for BLG, that slow pace, that fight they thought they had, dissipates as the Baron and the tempo now is over to OMG.
And do not forget, this is a Ryze, which will scale very hard. This is a Riven, whose Q3 will always be relevant throughout the rest of the game, even if her damage isn't. So the fact that they got that team fight on their terms, even though they were there later than BLG, it worked out so well for OMG, and they even pick up the Baron and the turrets for it.
Big turnaround, Preacher. We finally get to see it, and Curse survived so darn long.
Check your mini-map as well. Everybody from OMG is so far away comparatively. Here's the TP from Icon and also Hudie's ultimate. Take a look at where Crystal is. He's not even into the fight until he joins much later, but nobody is targeting him. Take a look at all of this AoE. Bam! He is just burning people down with the Jarvan ultimate to lock everybody in place. Nobody can escape.
Everyone did something in that fight. Not often that you say that. Crystal hitting the AoE. Hudie makes up for his deaths. Flashes in with a 3-man shield of Duran. So every element of OMG came into play. And it's good to see that these side lanes weren't hyped up for nothing, as, yep, Curse did 5k damage and Jinjiao just tried to carry the hell out of that fight.
It was just a shield composition. You were expecting the Jarvan ultimate to come out with the Galio ultimate. Didn't even happen. Galio wanted to engage, and then the W was what won them.
See if OMG can dissipate from this fight, though, because ADD's looking for the flank and OMG looks separated. Still in this brush. Are OMG going to face check this?
Oh, this is very risky for BLG because they've got the outside track. They are slow to this.
They really are. It's going to be mid-turret with the Baron buff. BLG can't go to it.
This is very risky for them, and now BLG, they have to decide how Meteor gets into the rest of this fight.
Will they look for the flank, because Meteor is nowhere nearby. The level 16 Jinjiao cannot get in there just yet. He's waiting.
There's so much respect coming out from OMG because they know at any point ADD can press the R button, and if it hits Crystal, then it could just be GG for OMG. So they have to play it safe, but they got a lot out of it. And if you take a look at the goal differential between these two teams, swung back into OMG's favor.
Yeah. I think we need to see a big ult from Meteor to separate the team of OMG, Preacher. I think we need to see that circle far and wide in the middle of 5 members. And for Kuro and Jinjiao to start picking them apart with ADD in the backside on top of Crystal, Icon, or Curse. So now that BLG have started up the Dragon, keep in the back of your mind that OMG, they need to get those conditions right again, even though they're up in gold.
But this is what we need to watch out for. Penguin is obviously off on the side, does have the level 15 smite compared to the level 16 of Meteor.
Curse is not there just yet. He's going to be spotted going over a control ward. Dragon resets.
It's going around the long way, but it's going to be worth it.
Meteor hasn't been spotted. He flashes into the backline into Icon, but Icon gets the shield. He starts spreading as Kuro goes in as well. Kuro's found one into the GA. Jinjiao's still alive as well, and he's hitting hard in the backside. Look at Jinjiao. Look at Crystal. He doesn't get the root. OMG getting torn apart. Kuro gets the backside,
You're
but
kidding.
it still spreads around. Icon lives, and Kuro is going to be short-lived after this play away. He flashes, he survives, but I think OMG have done it.
Beautiful outplay from OMG's backline as well, living for what felt like a year in the middle of that team fight to make sure that nobody died. Crystal finally falling in the end, but Icon dishing out the deeps.
Curse, rough early game on the Riven, but you never say this. Good recovery in the mid to late game there. OMG's top lane and solo lane will now dive onto the last member of BLG, but they don't need him to take this game #1 in style.
And what great comebacks from